My mother stood in the doorway, arms crossed, face red. "Get that animal out of my house, now." I looked down at Max. He was a 3-year-old rescue. Brown eyes, scruffy fur. He'd been at the shelter for 8 months. "Mom, he's house-trained. He's quiet." "I'll keep him in my room." "I don't care. No pets in this house. Those are the rules. Get rid of it or you both leave." My father stepped beside her. "She's right. This is our home, our decision." I took a breath. I didn't argue. Because I knew something they didn't. The deed in my lockbox said otherwise. What would you do if your own parents threatened to throw you out of the house you actually owned? Drop your country and the time in the comments. And hit like if you'd keep the dog. Because what happened next turned my entire family upside down. Let me rewind. This fight didn't start when I brought Max home. It started 3 years earlier. The day my grandmother died. I grew up in that house, but I never felt like it was mine. My parents made sure of that. "Don't touch that wall, it's not your house. We decide what happens here, not you. You're lucky we let you stay." I heard those words 100 times growing up. My grandmother was different. She was warm. She baked cookies every Sunday. She listened. The house was hers first. Built in 1972. She raised my dad there. When she got older, my parents moved in. They said it was to help her, but the energy shifted. They started running things, making rules. My grandmother faded into the background. She died 3 years ago, quiet, peaceful, in her sleep. I cried for weeks. My parents barely paused. A week after the funeral, my father said, "We inherited the house. We'll handle everything. Don't worry about it." I didn't ask questions. I assumed that's how it worked. I was 25. I didn't know anything about estates or deeds. I kept living there. I paid some bills. I stayed out of their way. But I kept one thing, a small lockbox, metal, scratched. My grandmother's handwriting on a label on top, for my girl. "Open when you need to." I never opened it. I thought it was just photos or recipes. I had no idea what was really inside, or that I'd need it to survive what came next. Fast forward to last year, I'd been seeing a therapist. Grief, anxiety, loneliness. She suggested a pet, something to care for, a companion. I thought about it for months. Then I saw Max at the shelter, and I knew. I brought him home on a Saturday. I didn't ask permission. I didn't think I needed to. I was 28 years old. My mother saw him first. "What is that?" "A dog. His name is Max. You can't have a dog here." "Why not?" "Because this is our house, our rules. We never allowed animals." My father came downstairs. She brought a dog. He stared at me. "Take it back." "Dad, I need this. My therapist said." "I don't care what your therapist said. This is our home. We make the decisions." I tried to compromise. "I'll keep him in my room. I'll walk him 4 times a day." "You'll barely see him." My mother cut me off. "No, you have 1 week. Get rid of the dog or you both leave." My stomach dropped. "You'd evict me." "You're 28, she said. "It's time to stop freeloading." My father nodded. "We're listing the house next month anyway. You need to find your own place." I froze. "You're selling the house?" "Yes, we've already talked to a realtor." "When were you going to tell me?" "We just did." They walked away. I stood there. Max at my feet, heart pounding. 1 week, I thought I'd have to leave. I started searching for apartments. 1 bedroom, pet-friendly. The cheapest I could find was $1,600 a month. I made $38,000 a year. I couldn't afford it. I called the shelter. Asked if they'd take Max back. They said they were full. They'd have to put him on a wait list. I asked friends if I could crash. 3 said yes, but no dogs allowed in their leases. I felt trapped. Then, 5 days into the countdown, an envelope arrived. Certified mail. My name on it? Inside, a formal eviction notice. 30 days to vacate the premises. They'd hired a lawyer. I read it 3 times, the words blurred. I sat on my bed. Max curled beside me. I thought about my grandmother, how she always said, "You'll be okay, sweetheart." I made sure of it. I didn't understand what she meant back then. Then I remembered, the lockbox. I pulled it from my closet, dust on the edges. I opened it. Inside, a stack of papers. Folded, neat, on top, a sticky note, her handwriting. "This house is yours." I made sure of it. Don't let them tell you otherwise. I unfolded the first document, and everything changed. It was a deed, warranty deed. County recorder's stamp in the corner. Official. Legal. Grantor, my grandmother's full name. Grantee, my full name, recorded 2 years before she died. The house, the one my parents were trying to sell, was mine, not theirs. Mine. I read the legal description 3 times, matched the address exactly. My hands shook. There was more, a letter, handwritten, dated the same week as the deed. My darling girl. Your parents have good hearts, but they need control. I won't let them take this from you. This house is your safety net. I've made it legal. Keep this paperwork safe. If they ever try to push you out, show them, and don't back down. I love you, Grandma. I cried, angry tears, sad tears, confused tears. Why didn't she tell me while she was alive? Why did my parents lie? How long had they known? Then it hit me. They were about to sell my house, without my permission, without my signature. And they were going to keep the money. I grabbed my phone. I took photos of the deed, the letter, everything. Then I walked downstairs. Time to have a very different conversation. I found them in the living room. I put the photocopy of the deed on the coffee table. We need to talk. My mother glanced at it. Her face went white, then red. Where did you get that? Grandma left it for me. My father picked it up, stared, his jaw tightened. This doesn't mean anything. It's a recorded deed. It means I own the house. My mother stood. Your grandmother wasn't in her right mind. She was confused, sick. She wasn't sick when she signed this. It's dated 2 years before she died. She was sharp. We've been paying the taxes, my father said, the insurance. The maintenance, you've contributed nothing. Legally, that gives us rights. Does it? He didn't answer. My mother's voice went cold. You're being ungrateful. We've let you live here rent-free for years. In my own house. This is our home. That piece of paper is a mistake. We'll fix it. I left the room. 2 days later, I came home from work. My key didn't work. They'd changed the locks. I could hear Max barking inside. I knocked. No answer. I called my mother. She picked up. You're trespassing. Leave or we'll call the police. You locked me out of my house. Our house and our lawyer will prove it. She hung up. I stood on the porch, shaking, furious. That's when I knew this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was war. I slept in my car that night. Max beside me in the back seat. The next morning, I called the attorney who handled my grandmother's estate. His name was on one of the papers in the box. He remembered me. I was wondering when you'd reach out. You knew about the deed? Of course. I prepared it. Your grandmother was very clear. She wanted you protected. My parents locked me out. They're claiming I'm trespassing. Silence. They did what? Changed the locks, threatened to call the cops. They can't do that. Let me send you something. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Email, PDF attachment. I opened it. It was the trust document, the full thing. I read the highlighted section 3 times. My grandmother hadn't just deeded me the house. She'd given my parents a life estate. Permission to live there, not own it. And the life estate had a condition. If they attempted to exclude me, evict me, or sell the property without my consent, the life estate was void. Terminated. There was more. A clause at the bottom. Grantee shall have the right to keep companion animals on the property. She knew, even then, she knew. My grandmother had written Max into the deed 3 years before I met him. I asked the attorney to dig deeper. Why are they so desperate to sell? He made some calls, pulled some records. 2 days later, he sent me a report. My parents had refinanced the house. Twice. First time, 5 years ago, took out $80,000. Second time, 18 months ago, another $60,000. Total borrowed against my house, $140,000. Current mortgage balance, $180,000. Payment status, 60 days delinquent. They were behind, way behind. The bank had already sent a default notice. If they didn't catch up, foreclosure would start in 90 days. They weren't selling the house to downsize. They were selling it to cover their debts. And because the deed was in my name, they needed me gone so the buyer wouldn't ask questions. The eviction wasn't about Max. It was about money, my house, my equity. They were going to sell it, pay off their loans, pocket the rest, and leave me with nothing. I sat in that car with the report on my lap, Max's head on my leg, and I made a decision. No more asking, no more explaining. I was taking my house back, and I knew exactly how to do it. The estate attorney gave me a referral, real estate litigation specialist. I met her the next day, brought everything: deed, trust, mortgage records, photos of the lock change. She listened, took notes, didn't blink. This is straightforward. You own the property. They breach the life estate by locking you out. We file for possession and quiet title. How long? Emergency motion for possession. We can get a hearing in 10 days. Quiet title takes longer, but the possession hearing will settle this. What do I need to do? Sign the retainer. Let me handle the rest. I emptied my savings, $2,000. She agreed to front the filing costs. I signed. She filed the next morning. Motion for preliminary injunction and immediate possession. Quiet title action. Restraining order preventing sale or further encumbrance of the property. My parents were served 3 days later. At the house. My house. The process server sent me a photo. My mother's face when she opened the door and saw the papers. I didn't feel good about it. But I didn't feel bad either. I felt clear. For the first time in my life, I wasn't asking for permission. I was claiming what was mine. The hearing was set for 9 days out. They had no idea what was coming. The hearing was in a small county courtroom. Wood paneling, fluorescent lights. I sat with my attorney at one table. My parents sat with theirs at the other. My mother wouldn't look at me. My father stared straight ahead. The judge entered. We stood. Be seated. This is a motion for preliminary injunction and possession. Counsel, proceed. My parents' attorney went first. He argued I was a guest, that my parents had paid all expenses, that the deed was executed under undue influence when my grandmother was declining. He had no evidence, just words. Then my attorney stood. Your Honor, we have 5 exhibits. She projected them on the screen. Exhibit A, the warranty deed, recorded, official, my name clear as day. Exhibit B, the trust document, life estate clause, highlighted. Exhibit C, the companion animal provision. Written 3 years ago. Exhibit D, the refinance records. $140,000 borrowed without my knowledge or consent. Exhibit E, the locksmith invoice, dated 4 days ago, proof they changed the locks and excluded me. The judge leaned forward. Counsel, did your clients know about the deed? My parents' attorney hesitated. They believed there was an error. That's not what I asked. Did they know the plaintiff held title? Silence. The judge turned to my mother. Ma'am, did you know your daughter owned this property? My mother's voice cracked. We were protecting her. She wasn't ready for that responsibility. By borrowing against it and locking her out? No answer. The judge looked at the exhibits again, then at me. Ms., do you want your parents removed from the property, or do you want to live there together? I took a breath. I want possession. They breached the life estate. I want them out. The judge nodded. Motion granted. Plaintiff is entitled to immediate possession. Defendants shall vacate within 15 days. Life estate is terminated. Quiet title action will proceed separately, but possession is awarded now. Gavel, my attorney squeezed my hand. I walked out of that courtroom. Max was waiting in my friend's car outside. It was over. The house was mine. My parents moved out in 14 days. No apology, no goodbye. A moving truck came on a Tuesday morning. They packed in silence. I watched from the window. Max beside me. When they drove away, I changed the locks. Again, this time I was the only one with a key. The house felt different. Lighter. I contacted the mortgage company, explained the situation, provided the court order. They transferred the loan into my name. Set up a payment plan for the delinquent balance. It wasn't easy, but it was mine. I turned my grandmother's old sewing room into a reading nook. Big chair, soft blanket, her photo on the shelf. I framed the sticky note she left in the lockbox. Hung it on the wall. This house is yours, I made sure of it. Max has a backyard now. He runs every morning, sniffs every corner. He's happy, I'm happy. For 6 months, I heard nothing from my parents. Then an email from my father. We were wrong. We got scared. We made bad choices. We're sorry. I read it twice. I didn't reply. Maybe one day I will, but not today. I'm still processing, still healing. I see my therapist every week. I journal. I walk Max. I've learned something important. Love isn't control. Family doesn't mean surrendering your rights, and boundaries aren't cruelty. They're survival. My grandmother knew that. She gave me more than a house. She gave me the power to stand up for myself, to say no, to choose my own life. I honor her every day. Not by letting people walk over me, but by protecting what she protected. My safety, my peace, my home. You can honor someone's memory without letting others rewrite your story. That's the lesson. So here's my question for you. Have you ever discovered a family secret that changed everything? What did you do? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story meant something to you, hit subscribe. There are more stories like this coming, real-life justice, boundaries, and people who stood up when it mattered. One last thing. This is a fictionalized dramatization based on real experiences shared with me. It is not legal or financial advice. If you're in a situation like this, talk to a licensed attorney in your area. Protect your peace. Keep your receipts. And never let anyone tell you that standing up for yourself makes you the villain. Grandma knew what she was doing, and so do I now.